Hello and welcome to your Mining Disrupt News Surge. It is Monday, the 27th of October. We're just a few short ways away from Halloween. Woo, spooky. But what's way more important is that we are 2 weeks and a couple of days from the Mining Disrupt Expo. You can get your tickets right here. Make sure you scan that QR code or follow the link in the description. But also, before you do that, like, subscribe. It takes you a second, two, and costs you absolutely nothing. But the cost of the tickets that you're going to want to get for the Mining Disrupt Expo are more than worth the price of entry. Maybe you're interested in going on a tour of a Bitcoin mining facility, see what it's like on the biggest scale. And if there's a place where they do things big, it is Texas. The state is big. The people are big. They're giants over there. I don't know. But the mining operations that they have in Texas are, they're massive. They're absolutely massive. They blow basically anything else around the world out of the water. All right, we're going to jump over to the numbers here in a second, but remember, this is where you come for education and entertainment, not financial advice. With that said, we are looking at a Bitcoin price of 110,000. The priority fees are still low. Unconfirmed transactions are 53,000. Public nodes are still looking great. And speaking of nodes, are you running a node? I'm not going to tell you what you need to do beyond that. I run knots myself, and there are some very big reasons for me doing that, but you can do whatever you like. What's important is contributing to the network and becoming a node, not just in a literal sense, because you are a node when you talk about Bitcoin, you share the knowledge, but you have a node. Apologize for my voice. I'm a little under the weather, but we're going to still get through it. We got to do what we got to do. Now, first up, this is my guy right here. I love following tweets from Bo Hines because, well, he was the crypto guy. And when it comes to the ex-crypto czar, you might want to pay attention to what he is saying. So let's take a look. Shows a little chart here with a line shooting up and to the right. That's interesting. Now, what is Trump here saying?
Well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You fake news.
I can already imagine people are saying, like, who cares? It's just a little emoji of the price going up, and it's Trump saying some stuff. You've got to zoom out. I see people get upset with Dennis Porter when he makes an announcement or an announcement of an announcement, and I get it. What you're hoping for, and what I'm kind of hoping for too, is that the Bitcoin castle is just built in an afternoon. Like Gavin Newsom and all of the mayors and politicians just get their heads out of the gutter and go, oh, Bitcoin's the best possible thing. They all flip a switch. Somebody flips the Thomas Macy switch in the back of their head, and they go from being greedy politicians to people that have their heads screwed on straight. Wow. Yes, I would love that too. But that's not what we're going to get. What we are going to get, and if you're paying attention, it's what we have been getting, are small victories. Things like Bo Hines tweeting about Bitcoin and sharing this. Things like this one right here. Good morning from Connor Brown. The announcement goes out at 10 a.m. Washington's future is bright. That was on Monday, and on Tuesday when the announcement went out, and he was talking about how he is now the head of strategy at the Bitcoin Policy Institute. And you might go, again, who cares, Dell? Whatever, man. It doesn't matter. These things don't mean anything. I want de minimis tax, and I want to be able to buy anything and everything with my Bitcoin and not have to worry about taxes. Like, I get that. I absolutely understand that. I'm right there with you. But that's not how things happen. When I was at Valve for a tour, Gabe Newell said something that really has stuck with me all these years. It was when he turned 50, which was like 14 years ago, I think. He said, because somebody asked him, like, why don't you implement this change? People have been saying this about Counter-Strike or Steam or whatever. I don't know. He said, you got to understand, when it comes to a company like Valve, it's like trying to have an entire massive steamliner or a massive cargo ship turn. You're wanting it to turn on a dime because your life is like a little dinghy. I don't mean that in a dismissive way. It's just like, you can make choices. You can go, oh, I'm not going to play that game. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to uninstall that. I'm going to do that. You can do that. But you can't do that when you're a massive company. You've got these contracts and these things are in the pipeline and all this is all coming and this thing's in. You can't do that. So you have to take the small victories for what they are. Victories. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that like 3 years ago, this picture would have been unimaginable? Working lunch. Okay, that's not the really important part here. The important part is we've got Cynthia Lummis along with Scott Benson and a working lunch. And then the really, really interesting thing is when she says TikTok. Who says TikTok? Bitcoiners say TikTok. If you've heard Lummis talk, you know that she understands Bitcoin to a pretty high degree. Far more than like my parents, that's for sure. Far more than most people. Far more than most people in Washington. So seeing her there with individuals talking about, sure seems like Bitcoin. It seems like people are trying to say things without saying it. And that is what I try to pick up on. Small victories, man. Small victories. I'm going to end things with this right here. This tweet from MD Bitcoin. Is that mining disrupt? Hey, man. Hey there. Careful there, buddy. No, I don't know what it is. MD Bitcoin, I'm not sure what it is. Doesn't matter. Oh, money. Bitcoin and medicine. Okay, cool. He says, owning one Bitcoin doesn't feel like a lot, but that's only because you're still thinking in dollars. You don't realize you already hold 1 out of 21 million units of pure digital property. You don't feel it yet because the world hasn't priced truth correctly. One Bitcoin is one ticket to the other side of the monetary reset. Real quick note, that is what Jack Mallers is talking about all the freaking time, week after week. That is what he's driving home. We are in the middle of big monetary regime change. It's one entire share of the hardest asset ever created. It's one piece of freedom that can move anywhere, anytime, without permission. It only feels small because you're early. I talk about this week after week. One of the most important things that you can do is store your time and energy in something that protects your time and energy. And as far as I know, Bitcoin is hands down the best thing to guard, to protect your time and energy. That's why I encourage you to tune in week after week. Get yourself, obviously, absolutely, to the Mining Disrupt Expo. Come here, like, subscribe, hit that button, bell notification, the whole 9 yards. And do what you can to learn about Bitcoin. Learn about the monetary order of the world, because boy, oh boy, it's a crazy rabbit hole. I'll tell you what. I'll see you here next week.